Hi friends, back to just looking like myself here. Okay, well, myself, what's a self? Anyway, we won't go there. All right, I have a new live journal uploading right now, and as sometimes happens, I was doing the write-up to go with it to put out on Scribe, and it turned into its own journal. So this one is going to relate directly to the one that's uploading now. It'll cover some of the same things, but I think it has enough that's new and maybe interesting in it that you'll appreciate that it deserves to be its own thing. So it's LITTEN, live and written, surrendering both knowing and crap, and what happened with Keisha. Let's see, let me expand the view, zoom level, make it easier to read. I've got these runway lights going on again. Okay, waking up was a bit strange today. I still couldn't believe that I had really recorded that R-rated journal and posted it for Christmas, no less. That was a bit crazy, and I was trepidatious about what kind of response would I find. Or maybe no one would respond, maybe YouTube would throw it out, who knew? Anyway, when I logged in first thing, I saw nothing but warmth and graciousness in the comments you left me. Apparently it hit a home note with a number of you. I am so grateful, I promise. I still feel a bit off balance over that. More of what I thought self was is going down with this. I kind of like that, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, for sure, to never feel solid and stable. I wanted to stress, too, how important the end of that video journal is. The whole solution or resolution and keys are there near the end. It was both necessary and important that even after all of that, I also allow the light to enter and to speak to me as it now and then does. My free will assent was required. None compels. Light beings don't anyway. The other side, the darker ones, may be pushy, but not the light. So once I allowed them to speak, I was quite surprised at all of the rest, and very surprised to hear them call that angry substance ephemeral. That took me aback, but oh, what good news. The really important part, as I see it though, is what came next. The surrender of it, the letting go. Can you do that yourself? I think this is where we make a mistake a lot of times. We identify with our crap, and so we hang on to it. We think that's us. Can you really give voice to your crap and then be willing to part with it and to see yourself with new eyes? Unless you can see yourself as separate from the crap, you will still be swimming around within it. Not the very best choice. We have to, as they say, come out and be a separate and chosen people. I think we have to self-choose. We have to pull quite out of the matrix, which is built on our own false beliefs. Well, once you see the falseness in a belief, you see you have outgrown it and that it doesn't really resonate anymore. The time is then to surrender it. We absolutely must let go of this crap. That's the piece we haven't been taught, to step out of it, to keep believing it. Believing in it, in whatever it says, is to continue to be locked into the matrix, plugged in. That's really stupid, don't you think? Can you see what I'm saying here? I really hope that you can. It is a necessary change and a radical change of perspective that is called for each time we encounter something like this. We must step up and out of the crap, whatever it is, and cease to identify with that anymore. That's not us. That's an overlay, an ephemeral overlay, if you will. So what if it was true forever up until just a minute ago? What's that to you? Follow your heart. There's purity there. No, maybe it's not your purity just yet, but it's leading the way. Your steps, my steps, our steps are highlighted for you right there in front of your nose. You're being shown, but you've got your part to play. You're the one with free will, the sovereign being there. No one, not even light beings, can come and make your decisions for you. They won't force anything on you either. That's why this stuff may seem a bit subtle at times. Imagine this with me. Imagine that toward the end of that journal, when the Syrian High Council beings spoke up, suppose that I didn't welcome them. Suppose I was still too identified with my anger. What would have been the result, do you think? Do you see how they would have just left, excused themselves, and gone? Or let's suppose that I welcomed them, but I was still not able to separate out from my crap. When they told me then that it was really ephemeral, suppose I didn't see it like that, and I was attached to my belief that this was me. What do you think the result of that would have or could have been? I hope you see that had I not played my part and been sufficiently humble, or shall we say humbled, and willing to receive their assist, things could have worked out other ways for me. I could still be swimming around in that crap. Nothing would have been said by them about it either. I wouldn't have been informed of the opportunity I had just missed. There would have been silence on that note, is my guess. They're not mean or cruel, not judging or condemning either. This is more to illustrate how it's not a spectator sport. That's what mind does, not heart. We are called on to make choices, and the best place to be for that is firmly within heart. Then the right choices will just be made. We'll watch it happening, often in amazement, as if we're somehow just along for the ride. Be in heart, so you hear what I'm saying here. This is all somewhat easier than the mind likes to think it is. Now, I am so hopeful that that message was clear enough that people saw it. You know, when we go around head-centered all of the time, there are things that are as obvious as the nose on your face that you just won't see. Why not? Because mind runs on a set of beliefs and ideas about what is real and what is not, what is important, what is nonsense, etc. Mind is judging all of the time. It thinks it knows things. What's the result? It blots out the rest. That's why hindsight is so perfect. 20/20, in fact. Hindsight is often accurate seeing. What was not at all obvious at the time becomes crystal clear when we look back at it later. Now, why is that? Because by going through it, we grew and we changed. And that's why we can now see what was apparent to others before, but not to us. We had to change. We had something blocking our vision. Now, that would be mind, not the best place to be. By shifting and changing perspective, going from head to the heart, our whole world undergoes changes so magnificent, so large, it makes things so completely different, yet so much seems to remain the same. This doesn't fit into words very well. Just be in heart. You'll get the message there. That's just how it works. In heart, we begin to learn how much we really do not know. That's an important part of heart perspective, to be willing to say, I don't know, and to mean it, and to be okay with it, to be content, not knowing. Mine can totally not relate to that. It's a whole new way of being for a people so stuffed and locked into mind. For a while, you will be walking in both worlds, the world of head and of heart. You'll get a little confused at times, sometimes a lot confused. That's okay though. If you just know, I don't know, are three very precious words, and take them to heart, confusion is fine. What's on the other side of it is even better. I can't promise that there will be knowing on the other side. As Patricia Corey says in the new video I've put in my playlists on YouTube, spirituality is not a destination like enlightenment seems to imply. It's much more of a process, a journey. I totally agree with that. She goes on to say something else that rings true to me too. The question is more important than any answers. The knowing is not the point of anything. Be in heart. In the video, I speak of this contrast of the both being in head and in heart by talking about what it was like to finally give up the concept of right and wrong. Wow, that one comes as a shock when you realize it's not really real. There's no distinction like that, the right and wrongness of things, that makes sense to heart. Now, of course, you simply must hear this from heart to know at all what I'm saying. I realize I lay myself open regularly by making statements like that to those locked in the mind's perspective on life. It doesn't make sense. Much of what I say could easily be used against me this way. I guess I can be glad that I'm small potatoes online. I don't have too many detractors at this point, except for a couple that are convinced I'm a reptilian. What a hoot. But you know what? I don't care. That has to be their problem, my friends. Didn't Jesus say something along the lines of, let those who have ears to hear, hear, let those who have eyes to see, see? I think it's recorded somewhere. It's like that anyway. Whether he said it or not doesn't matter. Do you see? It just is what it is. We are all divine sovereign beings, but we haven't been taught to claim that, to be the fullness of that yet. That teaching is coming out now, though, all over the planet. The aboriginals of the earth are speaking out now. Now is the time of the great coming together of the mankind of earth. And of the beings of the stars is my hope as well. We're all brethren. Let all life join together at last, for that is the truth of it. That's how things are made. We are all one anyway. Now, our beloved Keisha Crowther is having a rather hard time of it this Christmas season. This is little grandmother. For those of you who know and love her, send her the love of your heart. Beam it her way. It turns out that the two tribes with whom she claimed to be shaman have rejected that claim. They have said they don't recognize that she has that right. Now, she has done the wise thing and spoken out and admitted their right to say this. She has recanted being shaman for the Salish and the Sioux native tribes. There are many that will stick to the surface of things with this. They are condemning her even now, being quite harsh and judgmental, even though she did the right thing. I hope we are all above that, higher in consciousness, my good friends. Okay, She made a big mistake in making that claim in that way. We don't know all that's behind it, but she has admitted that, she has admitted that. And I say, good for her. The important thing here is to recognize that we're not better than she is. No one's better than anyone else. We have all made mistakes. We have all misspoken at times. Can we make this allowance for her? Are we big enough? Now, each one must make his or her own decision around such things. This is important. Don't let me or anyone else do your deciding for you. Make the choice your own heart guides you to. Keisha must make changes. There were many that only listened to her because of her claims to be officially speaking for the tribes. These people may well have no use for her or her mission now, and that's understandable. And so, folks, just be in heart over all of this. To me, that doesn't eradicate her worth or her mission, the whole of it. Let's just wait and see what comes. What is truth will stand, regardless of anything and everything that's thrown against it. If she is the white buffalo, as some are believing, that will be seen. Trust only in your heart, not in another. No teacher, no savior, no guru, no channeler, no channelee, none of it. Not even God. Let's anchor in heart and show the world what that does, what that means, what that is. It is different by far than the way most people live their whole lives. Well, up to now. Things are changing so fast and will be changing much faster even. Buckle in and get ready for the ride up ahead. Amazement will continue and continue. And that's about guaranteed change being the only constant to life. Just like me, who has just a short couple of years ago would have been shocked to find out, to think that I would abandon all belief in something so simple and seemingly solid as the concept of right and wrong, the way the world thinks of them. Right and wrong merge instead into something much more magical than just that linear thing. They become choice and its options. Simply that. No big deal. No punishment or anything waiting in the wings. Simply choice. What the heart leads me to and honors is what I would now call right for me. Though I don't, it simply is what it is. And what the heart leads me away from, shows me the darkness in, to go that way could be called wrong from this perspective. But I don't call it that. It's just a possible choice with its built-in consequences that form a part of each choice. And that is all. Lessons to learn would be the result of going that way. That is all. Very different from being wrong. Come in heart and see what it feels like to you. No one is perfect. No one. Even Jesus lost his temper in the temple as he threw the money changers out. Maybe he regretted that later. Maybe he didn't. I don't care. I don't set him up as a little tin god who could absolutely do no wrong. He was human as well. And it doesn't matter. His message rings true nonetheless. So let us come together in heart and be willing and unafraid to look at simply anything. No more stone casting or blaming of literally anyone, and that includes your own self. Quit all blaming of that one right now. Just set the intent to stop, and you will. It's a process. It may take some time, but it will stop. You're the sovereign who is in charge of such things. Let us all come together in heart with respect and honoring of each one. no matter what their outer appearance may be. All are sovereign, deserving of respect, even of love. As we do this ourselves, war will simply have to stop, my friends. It is fomented, it is formed out of our own personal energy of discord, anger, rage, prejudice, and the like. Our own personal energy is used, funneled in together to make the wars. We're all to come within to that point of real peace. All the soldiers, sailors, Marines, and the rest would simply have to wake up. They would be enabled to see what is acting instead of the heavy programming they are under, and the strong incoming energy of all our aggression, our hate, and our anger fueling that state. The war mentality. Let's pull the rug out from under that. Let's let that collapse. And the way we do that is to wade through our own crap personally. Then we can finally surrender it. Once it's been allowed to have its say, to be simply acknowledged, as in the R-rated journal there. As we work through this, bring it up from the basement of the subconscious state it is in, often, we can be relieved of its presence forever, if we wish, if we so choose, if we disidentify from it. In showing my clay feet in that journal, perhaps you will see what is being shown is really strengths. Everything is upside down to us, the way we see them and think of them here in 3D. What we think of as strong is maybe not so much that. Our weaknesses, those may be our strengths. In potential, who knows, right? Anything is possible. Let's just be open to that. Simple self-observation without any desire to move or to change or alter the self in any way. This is needed. This is the first step. And this is also love. We must self-accept. The rest of life will take care of itself. Our business is with the self, nothing else. We've been lied to about all the rest of that. In the heart, we can see and experience this, not from the mind, though, where it makes no sense, where it really seems selfish. The bottom line is that you can trust your heart, even when God and the whole cosmos seem set up to bring only destruction your way. It doesn't matter. Heart is still there for you. Going strong. Go within. You don't need anything outside of the self, capital S, outside of the heart. That's enough. Now, this is huge, of course. You find yourself, we all do, in such deep crap. Sometimes it seems impossible to find the way out. Well, the way out is the same. Always the same. It's the way into the heart. Only that. All we need is ever and always provided somehow. Don't try to understand it. Give up loyalty to the mind. It's a process. Just take the current step. That is all that is called for at any time. The one step that is now. Okay, looks like this written journal that was meant to go with the video journal went off its own way, and it too deserves to be recorded. I'll do that in a few minutes. My heart is really into this stuff. It's so wonderful to be, to feel so alive as when this flow is pouring through. It's so wonderful to just be, to feel so plugged in. It's higher consciousness that is pulling us up. That's what the feelings of displacement could be, you know. Up in higher vibrations, certain things just don't make that journey with us. They get left behind. They don't vibrate that way, that high. They're like old garments that have to be shed to make the trek into the higher densities. So we feel kind of disrobed or something, a bit off center or unaccustomed or whatever. Some will likely leave me, stop subscribing over the R-rated journal I did, and that's okay. That's their walk. They get to make choices for themselves. It's no business of mine. And not everybody can take anger and rage at God. Come on, it's pretty radical. It was hard for me to get there too. As we each find our own authentic swing, our own soul song that comes directly from heart, some will be magnetized to us and others repelled. They will leave us, go other ways. And that has to be fine. All are sovereign. All have that right. So let's not argue or try to convince other folks so much. I call for more respect for each being, no matter what. Let's instead come out in support of one another, no matter what walk we take, what walk they take. It doesn't matter. Let's just tend to the self, my friends. There is sufficient joy in that. It's found within heart. I'll meet you there.